Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new racer from Eachine. It's another very compact racer, a brushless one. This is a Chaser88 and this model comes in this RF format. It means that you will have to provide your own receiver transmitter. Okay, so look, the box is absolutely not a specialized packaging, okay, probably to reduce cost. But anyway, the more important is what you will find inside. Let's discover the bundle. First of all, we'll start with the accessories. You have this USB charger ending with a balance and plug for the 2S LiPo, 450 milliamps powers, more than 30 C as discharge rate if I'm not wrong. You have the balancer plug and you have an XT30 connector, and I think it's a good choice. It's handling amount of current much better than the GST connector usually employed for 2S system, so it should handle more better high throttle input. Okay, let's give some information about this battery. For example, the weight, okay, and should be around 24.2 grams. And let's give some dimension, okay, if you are interested to find a compatible one, to be aware with XT30 connector. It's a 50 millimeters by something like 20 by 14. Okay, so the accessories, you have also a small rubber band. It will be to replace the one attaching actually the IO FPV camera. Finally, you have a set of 4 props, some 22-inch model, 2030 to be exact, and each of them weighs 1.1 gram, and you will need 2 screws, okay, to attach them, already installed on motors. No instruction manual, okay, so you have to guess everything. And here is a machine. So first, it's a pretty compact and light despite being full carbon based, and this machine weighs 66.9 grams. And let's compare in terms of size with a 23 millimeters machine, the Eachine X73S, and this one is much more lighter, okay, 30 grams. So the Chaser is close to be twice more heavy, but no miracle, you have much stronger motors and carbon element everywhere. You have LEDs programmable, buzzer, okay. And let's start with more in detail with the motors. They are CERT 1103 type, announced to spin at 10,000 kV, okay, and installed with 4 screws like this. And look that, no miracle, with the 2-inch prop install, you won't be able to install more larger one. He will hit the flight control board. Okay, so this is the limit. Let's give an indication about the unibody carbon frame. So it's a 2 millimeter one, and with a piece of one you reach 3 millimeters, so 2 millimeters of arm, okay, thickness, and it's pretty good. It's not so flexible, so it's a good point for durability and resistance, okay. But we will see, sorry, if we will still see some wobbles, okay, because the more tiny is a machine, the more hard is to set the PID settings in general. So let's continue with the right side. Here you can find a connector. It's associated with the RF version, okay, and this one is 4 connector one, but only 3 wires is used, and it's a 1 millimeters connector. And if you already saw some unboxing and review of the Eachine Falcon 120, and it's exactly the same type of connector you have to use, this FlySky FSHAS. It's directly a plug and play, and for the first 3 pads. You have the ground, the VCC, and iBus or S-bus. The 4 is for PPM connection, and here it means that out of the box it's expecting to have an iBus or S-bus connection, and to be more precise, it's expecting to have an iBus. So it's clearly this connector, receiver, sorry, you will have probably to in the RTF version, okay? Probably, I'm almost sure, I'm 99%. So I will install it later. On the rear side, a central buzzer, that's a great point. For such tiny machine, it's a must to have, and programmable lights, 6 LEDs. Okay, so by default they are not super well tuned programmable, no such much light effects, so I will propose in Betaflight some better settings in my point of view. So one of the main originality is this carbon element. It's not a plastic, it's a full carbon element, protected pretty well the I/O, especially the cloverleaf antenna. So whatever you will fall, hit the ground, even upside down, the cloverleaf will be protected. And on top you will find this 800 TVL I/O 25 milliwatts of FPV camera, 800 or 700 maybe, more 700. And on the left side you have this unique button to select, if shortly pressed, the current wave frequency among the 8 frequency inside the current band. If you long press more than 2 seconds, you will cycle between the 5 bands supported, rise band is supported. So it's a classic I/O, and it's attached through this rubber band. You have a spare one in the bundle, that's great. But look at the no up tilt positive angle. So if you want to fly more aggressively, you will have first to disconnect the rubber band and either to insert below the lens thread support 3D printed a piece of foam, something like this, or what you can do is to raise here by unscrewing this bolt here, and you can see on each bottom side you have some kind of rubber or rings. So I regret maybe to raise a bit the 3D printed video camera support, that they didn't give us some this kind of rubber O-rings to raise a bit the 3D printed platform. Another point, you won't be able to apply a very strong positive angle because the connector here, it will be blocked, okay? When you will incline more vertically, it will be blocked by the main power connector and as well by the wave frequency selector, okay? Just beneath the camera below you have the micro USB port, when you will be able to configure the SP Racing F3 board. That's great. And you have the big news, you have the last Betaflight version installed. That's great. And just below, okay, you can guess some connector here. You have a 4-in-1 ESC, okay, 6 ampere, BLLS compatible and more. It's supporting the last technology of G-Shot 600. That's great. So you have really the last technologies of ESC. 6 ampere is not so much, 10 ampere at peak, but it means that it won't be possible to fly it in 3S. So you only be able to fly it in 1S, will be too weak, but 2S maximum. Okay. Anyway, let's give you an information about the total weight with the machine. So standalone, we already saw that it was close to 66.9 grams. And if I had the battery, something like this, okay, we should reach something like close to 90 grams, okay, maybe 91.1. And if I had the receiver, we should reach something like 93 grams, okay, maybe some tape, something like around 93.5 grams in total weight. So it's my point of view, it's a little bit heavy, okay, And one way to gain some weight will be to, of course, to remove the rear LEDs bar, but you have here the buzzer, so the buzzer is a must to keep for sure. So maybe some weight can be saved, but I will say the main point where we can grab some weight is probably by swapping this I/O camera. In practice, you will see that even despite to be having a cloverleaf antenna 25 milliwatts, this one is not offering a great FPV range. Okay, it's precise, it's sharp, but the FPV range is not so amazing, and I will replace it more later after flying in with the default configuration. I will replace it with more this I/O camera. This is a TX02. It's a 200 milliwatts version, so much power, and this one is much more smaller and lighter. Okay, so this one is only 4.7 gram, while the original one should weight around 7-8 grams. So I will probably save close to 3-4 grams. Is not bad, while also improving the FPV range and probably the flight time due to the gain of weight. Okay, so now after doing this small tour, really I like, because it seems to be solid. The props are quite rigid, so it means that for indoors, if you crash on a hard surface, you will probably really fast break some props. I regret the non-presence of bodyguards, okay, prop guards for more indoors application. That's probably a drawback of this machine. So now I will install the RX receiver, the FlySky receiver. Okay, I will try to attach either on the camera or more on the lateral side of the prop guard here, and then bring you the default Betafly configuration. Okay, and perform a first test with the default settings, and probably you will we will see that with the default PID setting there is a lot of wobbles, okay, as have been reported, and we will after optimize more the setting. Okay, here is the receiver installed, so just block it on the right side and install the antenna vertically. It's holding like this, should be, and you can zip types if you want. Okay, it's not a problem at all. So no big drama to install it, and let's give a weight of the total system. Also install the battery thanks to the big rubber band. Okay, installed laterally, and the total weight should exceed 93 grams, a little bit more, but not so much more. So 93.2 grams. Okay, and now let's check the default configuration. Okay, and one word if you want to install, for example, to swap the default I/O camera for this TX02 200 milliwatts, or maybe the TX03 you have a switchable output power from 25 milliwatts up to 200. So be aware, even if the connector is the same size, you can notice that the polarities are inverted. So the best solution is to use a very small tweeter on your TX203 connector, take the one, and to exchange the wire position, so the black will be on the right and the red on the left. Okay, be aware, never plug directly because you will cook your I/O camera. Okay, so it's probably a mode to do if you want to improve the FPV range. Even if I really like the default precision, the image is sharp, clear, but the range a little bit limited. Okay. first demo flight with the default setting, well, of the Eachine Chaser88. I installed the receiver like this, and you will see that thanks to the LEDs configuration, have got very nice Larson effect, okay, scanner effect. Okay, so now let's go and check how is flying with the default settings. Okay, so let's power everything. And turn up my FlySky radio. No feedback about the RX sensitivity with this micro Eachine receiver. Okay, so this will be my flight mode. Beware with the default configuration. Okay, if you don't change the flight mode settings, the switch C in one position will be a crow. Okay, beware. So it's not for a beginner friendly flight mode. Only the central one was horizon. Okay, angle, sorry. So I changed the settings as you saw on my first part, and now let's engage the flight. I will record everything, I hope to, and let's engage that. Okay. Wow, already you can see a lot of wobbles with the default settings. Not pretty good, but let's check the scanner effect. Yes, a ton of wobbles, so PIDs must be adjusted and the D values must be increased a lot. Well, it's impossible to fly with the default settings. It's absolutely not. Okay. So in the FPV will be a really nightmare. So much wobble. Okay, increase the rate. Let's check a pump. Okay. Oh my God! Look that in the descent, so instabilities. Okay, as expected. And the buzzer start touring. It's not so loud. It's very so you can find it around a radius of 5 meters maximum. Okay. Okay. Let's check a little bit in FPV, but I think I will be afraid the battery is rigging super soon. Wow. Okay. Last demo flight of the Chaser88 with some new optimized PID settings and some TP adjustment as well as the rates. So I will fly in a new more open space, but it's extremely cloudy and some little breezes here, so it will probably affect the stability. Whatever, in acro we will see. Let's go! Okay, first conclusion about the Eachine Chaser88 with first of all with the default settings. So out of the box with the default settings, you have to be aware that first the flight mode configuration, especially if you use such kind of micro FlySky receiver with such kind of radio FlySky i6 or Eachine i6. First, be aware out of the box you are in acro. Okay, so immediately change the flight mode settings to not have an accident if you are beginners. Second point, all the default PID settings offer a ton of jello in 6-axis stabilization, so angle and horizon. Acro is just a little bit better, okay? But the FPV camera is nice, the FPV range on average not fantastic. You have a relatively good amount of punch. I really like that the LEDs are completely configurable and the scanner effect is great. The buzzer is weak, to be honest, so within a radius of 5 meters, 10 meters maximum if you have a good ear maximum. The flight time are poor. You have 3 minutes 30, and be aware the LBC is starting to buzz faster and faster as soon as you reach the critical LBC values, okay? And the story start to change as soon as you apply new PID settings. I'll show you in the pictures, and then at least in acro is much better. It's almost super stable. I would not say super, but relatively stable and really enjoyable. You have a good amount of punch to fly acro, to perform some nice figures, no problem at all. But unfortunately still 3 minutes of flight time. So my question is this 450 battery announced to be 40C FD charge rate be a real 40C? I'm not completely sure. Probably is a 30C, because it's exactly the same model that the Eachine EX120 I reviewed recently, the exact copter. Exactly the same model, but with a different connector. This latter was only rated 30C, so it's an open question. Probably you will have to provide a much better and powerful battery, would be a good way. So if you plan to change the FPV camera for more powerful, why not a TX02 or TX03? Be aware of the 1.25 mini GST connector SH. For the TX versus this one are inverted polarities, so it means that you will have at least to swap the wires to the connector if you want to plug it. Be aware, if you don't do it, you will cook your new IO FPV camera, okay? And you can probably save 3-4 grams with the new setup. You can see it's much more lighter, and the FPV range will be improved. Anyway, really, after some little optimization, it's an enjoyable machine. It's robust, crash resistant, but not for indoors application. No prop guards, and you will break props very fast. So more on outdoors flyers with moderate wind, moderate breeze. It's handling this situation pretty well, and it's very dedicated to fly in tiny spaces, okay, for proximity flight, to pass through branch and some stuff like this. Really like this, and well, to fly acro in proximity flight, it's a good potential machine. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please send it, and see you next time for a new review. Bye bye.